Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another Rome 2 Total War battle. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Riley and/or Captain Four Eyes, and holy smokes, do I have another battle for you guys. This was a very interesting battle. It was me and my buddy Best Brother against a couple of enemies that we randomly found online. This was a siege battle, us playing as the defenders. Of course, I always play as the defenders if I have the chance. I love defending. I suck at attacking, but I absolutely love defending. So yeah, no, this was a very interesting battle to say the least. I'm not really quite sure whether we were trying to go for like a historical battle and stuff. Looking at the factions, I don't think we did, but this is definitely an interesting battle. I really enjoyed playing this one, and I really hope that you guys enjoy watching this video. But yeah, guys, um, this battle takes place within a Gallic settlement. Gallic settlement? I think the settlement was located within Gaul, but it was, of course, you see a couple of barbarians, but you don't really see much in the way of anything else. I was playing as Epirus, if I remember correctly, and my ally was playing as Athens, whilst we were fighting as the snake, or fighting against snake people and other people. I have no idea what factions they are. Please tell me it tells me. Nope. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I have no idea what factions they are. If I remember correctly, these are barbarian. No. Yeah. No. Thessaly? Was this Thessaly? This might be Thessaly. But either way, guys, yeah, so before we actually get well, actually, let's just keep the battle rolling here for a little bit because they're just shooting artillery and stuff here for a little bit. So yeah, guys, this is a battle taking place within a barbarian settlement. Absolutely love playing within barbarian settlement battles because it's just like, it seems like there's a lot more that can happen within them, especially on this map because you've got like a back way, you've got like multiple pathways over here, you've just got this ginormous wall that they can siege, and it's definitely difficult to hold off. So yeah, guys, this was a very interesting battle. Actually, I am going to go ahead and pause it. So as you guys can see here, I've got a couple of units of Aspis Companion Cavalry. Now, I forgot to actually lower the funds. Usually I keep them on more of a normal fund, but I accidentally set up the funds to be the highest amount of funds possible. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot more elite troops and better troops instead of like, you know, crappy cannon fodder type of troops, which is fine in my opinion. I think it'll be really cool. But yeah, guys, so they kind of instantly hit the start button, which of course there was no rule against it, so it's perfectly fine. So we just kind of quickly set up some spikes all over the place. I believe my ally set up some spikes over here, trying to keep, and some caltrops and such, trying to keep the cav back. And we just kind of quickly set up defenses and such, and just shoved a bunch of troops up against the walls in order to prepare for the enemy attack. For the most part, we kind of kept our infantry and such in the back, so that way we can, you know, of course, move it up wherever we needed to, and it was out of harm's way of artillery and archer fire and everything else. But as you guys are about to see here, I am actually charging out my cav. We're going to go ahead and sally forth, because I want to see if I can do some damage to either their archers or their artillery pieces, whatever I might be able to do damage to. That is my ultimate goal. So I'm sallying out with a couple units of Aspis Companion Cavalry. Very good cavalry. Very elite cavalry, very interesting cavalry. They almost look like a Roman copy cavalry, but a lot of the factions in this game seem like they use like Roman armor and everything else. So it's I love that about that. I both love and hate that about this game, because don't get me wrong, absolutely love Roman armor and like the way anything Roman looks. It looks really freaking cool. But I also love to be able to see that type of variety as well, and the fact that, in my opinion, a lot of different factions seem like they have similar or the same type of armor is a little bit upsetting, but it's really cool. So I am trying to charge my cav out, and I'm trying to circle around, and at this point in time, well, you guys will see, but at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and just try to get away from here, because he's going ahead and he's going to go ahead and try some noble Germanic horseman. Okay, I didn't know if there was a different word for that or anything, at me, and he's trying to stop me, all the while his ally is also sending in a unit of citizen cavalry, crappy cavalry, in order to attempt to stop my cav. And I'm kind of freaking out at this point. I'm trying to get the hell out of there. I'm rushing one of my units into the forest to try and hide while I'm also rushing my other unit, just trying to charge into the citizen cav, because it's citizen cav, right? Like, my Aspis companion cavalry should be able to take out that citizen cav fairly easily. So I'm actually successfully pulling away, you know, all, like, their cav, a bunch of their units and everything, and just kind of pulling a lot of units away from this battlefield. So my ally was like, well, you know what would be kind of cool? Let's if you can distract them enough and pull enough units away from the enemy, then I'm gonna go ahead and take a couple of my units. I'm gonna sally out and just see what happens. So that's what he's doing here. He's trying to charge out some of his thorax swords. I didn't realize how many thorax swordsmen he charged out, but he charged out a bunch of thorax swordsmen and a bunch of units out just in order to try and do as much damage to the enemy and just slow them down and give us more time to use our archers and everything else. So while I am kind of engaging with this enemy cav and distracting them as much as possible, my allies taking this opportunity to, again, do as much damage as possible. Attack these towers, go for archers, try to weaken their lines and slow them down, and just try to give us, again, as much time as possible to be able to do as much damage with both our archers and our infantry. But they are starting to get their siege towers up. These siege towers, I believe, yeah, these are the type of siege towers that do not have the ballista on top, which is very good for us. I really like that, so that way we don't have to deal with that type of stuff. But yeah, dude, oh, this is beautiful. So my ally successfully charging into these Agema, I think they're pronounced Agema spears. I might be butchering that name, so I apologize for that. But my ally is just completely bestowing disorder upon the enemy. Like, he is really... he's putting the hurt on these guys. He is not letting them push up those towers. But the enemy's not going to let that stop him. He's going to go ahead and push up the other towers and start engaging with the thorax swordsmen that we have placed upon the walls. I also have hoplites situated and Illyrian levies, which were actually pretty good. I was very surprised that they actually did a pretty good number. I've got some swordsmen and some archers and such just in the background to try to help defend against the territory. All the while, the enemy, he's pushing over here, but he's not, like, he's pushing over here with a couple of units, but that's it. He's just going with a couple of units. He's not really trying to do anything. Over here, so I apologize, there's a lot of stuff happening right now. So I'm trying to run my cavalry past this cavalry to try to get to this Greek ballista, and I see an opening. I see that this German ballista is out in the open, and my cav was kind of already starting to get wrecked anyway, so I was going to see if I could charge this artillery and do as much damage as possible. So that's what I'm doing here, seeing if I can successfully get a good charge in to these guys before the enemy cavalry catches up to me, and see if I can just take out this artillery crew. So the enemy did successfully get their general and another unit in to stop my cav, but my cav should be able to, if not kill this German ballista, at least do a really good number of damage to it. So yeah, my cav, very, very slow. They're getting absolutely wrecked right now. This citizen cav is just way too quick for my cav, and I'm unable to get him to this Greek ballista. And so they break, and that's kind of the end of my cav forces. But look at this, guys. These thorax swordsmen are... yeah, they're getting wrecked, but they're making the enemy use up so much of their ammunition just on one unit, which is absolutely insane. They instantly broke, but yeah, they're able to do a little bit of damage to the enemy army and really get them to waste some of their ammo. I don't know if I would call it a waste, but definitely get them to use up some of their ammo. And then my ally, seeing that he's charging into pikes, he's going to go ahead and try to get his unit around and wrap around those pikes and do a little bit of damage to him. But over here... my ally kind of sent his swords to focus down here, so I sent in my hoplites to help him defend against these Agema spears, and my other unit of hoplites to fight against these Agema spears. I noticed that he's moving up another unit of Agema spears, so I'm going to go ahead and try and charge in my Illyrian levies, which again were a lot better than I thought they were going to be. They are they swords? No, they're an axe unit, so they're able to do a decent chunk of damage to the enemy units. I've got my archers set up and firing into this blob of Agema spears because they're kind of at an incline. This is a perfect target for my archers. They shouldn't miss too much ammo. But yeah, my allies thorax swordsman now having to deal with cavalry and everything else. He's frantically trying to charge them into the Greek ballista because he knows that they're going to die, but he's hoping that he might be able to take out that Greek ballista, if not anything else. So he's going to go ahead and charge into that Greek ballista while the enemy's just letting him, which really surprised me. They were kind of doing a little bit of trash talking in the chat, but that's all fun and games. That's all part of the game, and I love that. I absolutely love it whenever people do that. It's really fun. But yeah, no, they were doing a little bit of trash talking, like, oh, our artillery was already out of ammo and such, and I thought that was cute. But yeah, no, this is so my ally successfully took out that Greek ballista, and he's kind of using the remnants of the ballista as cover against this cavalry charge. And he's going to try to do as much damage as possible to this cavalry, but again, cavalry against Thorax swordsmen, these constant cycle charges, it's just not going to be, it's not going to be a very good fight. So ultimately, he is going to lose that. Over here, though, I mean, we've got our archers and everything firing. We're not doing bad at all. We've got archers firing in these Agema spears. These Agema spears are absolutely getting wrecked right now. They're in square formation. Our hoplites are doing a good number, as well as the archer fire doing a really good number on these enemy units. Spears definitely holding them back and just giving us as much time as possible to be able to, again, deal as much. Our goal is to just do as much damage to the enemy as possible with as little units as possible. And so, yeah. The enemy... Shoot, I really wish I knew what faction this was. This enemy right here is finally moving up their other siege towers. They are successfully... They moved up a lot of their military forces over here as well, and they have pretty much successfully broken through. They've got their berserkers and everything, of course, going berserk. They've got Germanic spearmasters, moving up some Germanic noble guard, etc., etc. Just a whole bunch of super elite units. Just moving up all these units to try to take this tower and take this wall. And all we have to hold them back is one small unit of Thorax swordsmen. But over here, they are starting to charge in. They're moving up their towers, and they're moving up units of, I'm guessing, oh, they're moving up units of berserkers. So yeah, they're moving up units of berserkers. Very good unit to be able to take the walls. If he goes berserk whenever he gets up on the wall, then they'll be able to clean up any unit pretty easily. Also moving up a unit of Germanic spearmasters to try and take this wall as well. So overall, we are holding a little bit, but it is starting to become that time to be able to try and retreat. And I think, nope, not yet. So we are about to take out these Agema spears, but I was really surprised. These spear units, like this spear unit really holds for ages. I mean, they'll just sit there and fight until there's like 5 of them left, which is, that was crazy to me. But yeah, no, my Illyrian levy is honestly doing a really good number. These Agema spears are pretty good units, but my my levies, I mean, they're just levies, but they're chopping them to pieces. As well, these Agema spears are kind of getting wrecked from my hoplites as well, and archer fire. And these ones, they're slowly but surely getting shipped away, but they are doing a pretty good number against our units. So yeah, the enemy is beginning to move up more units. Pikemen, Agema spears. Just, it looks like he pretty much only brought Agema spears, which really surprised me. But again, I've never played this faction, so I'm not really quite sure what their strengths and weaknesses are. And I think it was at this point of the battle that we decided ultimately, like, okay, they're moving up their armies, they've got everything set up and situated. This isn't really a good place for us to hold anymore. Let's retreat. So I went ahead and just said, hey, dude, we really need to retreat. So that's what we ultimately decided to do. He's going to try to get as many of his Thorax swordsmen out of the fray as possible. Those berserkers still chasing after us frantically, just trying to get as many kills as possible. I've got my hoplites set up. I've got some mercenary Italian swordsmen set up. I'm retreating some more mercenary Italian swordsmen. My levies, my archers, one of my units of hoplites. Ultimately, I told my ally to try to get his Thorax swordsman out of there, and I'm just going to keep what's left of my hoplites here to try to hold back the enemy. And just, again, do as much damage as possible, but the main goal is to try to hold back the enemy for as long as possible. Oh, I completely forgot about this. I also brought a couple of units of ships, because this was a siege battle with naval capabilities. So I brought a couple of units of Therios spears, which I'm going to go ahead, since the enemy doesn't have any naval forces or anything, didn't bring any naval forces, I'm going to go ahead and deploy on this beachhead and try to secure these towers so the enemy can't just, you know, go ahead and flank around and attempt to attack me this way. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold this area with these spears and sit there for a little while. I also forgot to mention, I do have a unit of mercenary Indian war elephants that are hidden in the trees. The enemy have no idea that they're there. So make sure you guys pay attention to that later on in the battle. This was a really cool battle. That's all I'm saying. So they're moving up some Germanic spearmasters. They're trying to, you know, stop the Thorax swordsmen from retreating back, but we did successfully get back most of our units. Of course, we had to leave one or two back to hold back the enemy while we retreated, but ultimately, we were able to retreat a good number of our troops. So again, I've got my hoplites situated. We've got some thorax swordsmen situated behind whatever thorax swordsman we can pull back. I've got a bunch of mercenary Italian swordsmen. I've got my levies, more hoplites, archers, my general, my elephants, all the good stuff. And my allies still got a ton of units. I mean, I don't know if my ally brought anything else. I just realized that. Did he just fill up an entire thing full of thorax swordsmen? I think my ally might have only brought thorax swordsmen. Wow. Okay. That really surprises me. I did not realize that at all. He's just got 50 trillion units of... Okay. I actually wasn't paying attention to that at all throughout this battle. I was just so focused on my own like military and trying to stay alive that I just never noticed it. So the enemy has successfully taken the gates and taken the walls. So they've taken our towers. And the towers are beginning to shoot at my hoplites and doing a little bit of damage. There's really not too much I can do about it. I can't really retreat back, because if I retreat back, then this entire defense pretty much falls. So I'm just going to keep my hoplites up in the front to be able to take as much fire as possible. But right now, we're kind of on the setup phase. The enemy's kind of setting up their troops. We're setting up our troops, getting ready for the defense. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this. Oh, holy smokes, this is choppy. Holy smokes. Okay, forget fast forwarding. That's really bad. I'll probably actually just go ahead and edit this within the video. And so that way you guys don't have to watch the setup. But yeah, right now, guys, it's just archer fire and maneuvering. So I will see you guys whenever we get back from the edits. End of cut. Okay, guys, so I think that ultimately they are going to go ahead and charge in. Like I said before, they've just been, using up all their ammunition, allowing the towers to try to take out my hoplites. Just, trying to do as much damage as possible. He has had his archers shooting at me from over here. Both units of Germanic. What are they actually? Germanic noblewoman archers. Oh, these are the badass archers, I think, with the spears. Yeah, they're actually pretty good at melee as well. But yeah, they're letting the towers deal damage to me. They're using up all their ammo. They're throwing up all their spears. But that's okay. Because, ultimately they're using all these ammos at the front. All of their ammo on the front of my hoplite units, which is the perfect unit to be able to take out, or take as much, archer fire as possible. Especially with these big-ass shields and this really heavy armor. Now, of course, the towers shooting at me doesn't really help too much because it does a pretty decent chunk of damage. But it's not as bad as it could be. So ultimately, I do decide to retreat a little bit. See if I can get these damn towers to stop firing at me. I'm going to retreat my hoplite units back here. I'm keeping this one just in case they try to charge me while I was retreating. And ultimately, I am going to try to move this hoplite unit back, put it in between, just to it's still a unit. It's still got people inside of it to be able to do damage to the enemy. So I am going to go ahead and run this hoplite unit back and just try and put it in the middle and use it to the best of the ability, because it's still got 20 men left, and 20 men's better than 0. So I'm hoping that'll be able to do damage. But finally, it does look like the enemy is going to go ahead and move up their armored Germanic axe warriors. Whether they attack with them or not is to be seen, but they are moving them up. So we got a little bit of a better defensive position. Only one of the towers is able to shoot at me now, so that's good. We do still have some decent hoplite units. I've got some my Illyrian levies and my mercenary swordsmen sitting in the background. I'm ready for them to charge in. So it looks like their noblewomen are out of ammo, so he is moving them up to kind of destroy those barricades and everything, just to try to make it as easy as possible for his troops to move up and attack my units. Over here, his allies doing the same thing, using as much ammo as possible, trying to do as much damage as possible. Using up a ton of ammo with his archers. Holy smokes. I'm doing a decent chunk of damage to my hoplites, but again, he's shooting at the front. Holy smokes, that's actually doing a lot more damage than I would have expected. But, of course, it is a armored hoplite unit. If there's any units that I would love to be able to see them shoot at, it's the hoplite units, especially the front of them. So I'm not complaining too much. Ultimately, I do have my couple of units archers that I had shooting at them before at the walls. I've moved them up, and I'm just going to try to do a little bit of damage. I'm trying to provoke them to try to get them to move up and actually attack me here. I've also got my unit of mercenary Cretan archers, so my more elite archers that I've been having sitting in the background, moving up onto the wall to try to get some good flanking fire onto the enemy forces. And ultimately, that is going to hopefully allow them to... Never mind, I spoke too soon. I was really hoping that they would attack now. I thought this was the moment where they would attack, but that's my bad, guys. But yeah, they're still doing a little bit of skirmishing, just doing some damage to my hoplite units and everything else. So yeah, I guess I will be back once they attack again. Okay, it does look like they're finally attacking, even if it is just with their Germanic noblewoman archers. At least I was hoping that they attacked. They moved up real close, so now they're just kind of staring each other down with death stares. I mean, some of them have killed some. You know, these people, both sides have killed friends and possibly even family members of the other side, and so they're pissed at each other. So they're just staring each other down and just waiting. My units attempting to provoke the German noblewoman archers to charge in, and them trying to provoke my units to charge in. Nobody wants to charge in first. Nobody wants to be that guy. I've also got my archer unit in the background, kind of firing at the enemies, the backs of the enemies, just trying to do as much damage as possible. Again, just trying to provoke these guys to move their asses up. Instead of just sitting back, and of course firing their archers and stuff at me. Great move, but I would love to be able to see them attack me. The other side still doing the same thing, just you know, firing their arrows and waiting to move up. It looks like the arrow fire has finally stopped. They're just kind of relaxing here a little bit again, staring each other down, getting everything situated. Again, the Germanic noblewoman archers just staring down my troops and waiting for them to make the first move, because they really do not want to make the first move. They're just going to keep sitting back, relaxing. The enemies moved up more archers and such, and so they're going to try to do a little bit more damage to my troops before they move in. They're also moving in some troops over to the left side, or at least from my viewpoint, the left side, to attempt to probably deal damage to these thorax swordsmen, because I believe they're probably going to try to charge up to that defense, because it's not the strongest defense in the world. You got a couple units of depleted thorax swordsmen guarding that rampart and that tower. Again, the Germanic noblewoman archers still just staring down my troops, relaxing, chilling. The other opponent still just kind of sitting back with their shite ton of Agema spears, which... See, I never really even realized this within the game, but it looks like, you know, my ally just brought pretty much a full army of thorax swordsmen. The other enemy brought a little bit of a variety of stuff, which I respect and appreciate. And then the other enemy just brought Agema spears and a couple of units of pikes and some archers. So it was really just me and... why can't I remember these guys' names? Oh, they finally charged in! Let's go, boys! Alright, so... the Germanic noblewoman archers have finally charged in and are engaged with my hoplite units. Armored Germanic axe warriors also coming in close behind to come in and support their women. They're not going to let their women, you know, just fight their battles all for them. So they're going to try to charge in and do as much damage as possible as well. Me seeing that they're moving up their armored units, I begin to move up my Illyrian levies, and my ally also moving up his thorax swordsman. Just trying to make sure that the line stays held, because of course we don't want the enemy to push up and engage with us. Me seeing that the backs of these Germanic Spearmasters and these armored Germanic Axe Warriors are exposed. So I have my archers that are situated up on this platform, just firing into the backs of the enemy. Absolutely love this position. Very good position to be able to do a really good number of damage to the enemy units. Because, I mean, the backs are exposed. They can just keep firing into the backs of the enemy units without hindrance. And so I am a little bit worried about these hoplite units, but I do have my unit of Illyrian levies close behind to be able to fill that gap if they so do break. It looks like that both opponents have started attacking at the same time. I've got a unit of hoplites holding the line. Both my units of depleted hoplites are holding the line as best as possible. I start freaking out because I see that they're starting to break through in this line. I'm like, yo, best brother, we need to hold the line, they're breaking through. So we both just charge pretty much everything that we have. My mercenary Italian swordsman and his unit of thorax swordsmen in order to hold that line. And I do not believe that that enemy is going to be breaking through that line anytime soon. It is a very, very thick line of troops. My hoplites are beginning to break, but no need to fear. We do have mercenary Italian swordsmen in the mix to be able to hold them back. We are breaking these spearmasters and these armored Germanic axe warriors, but again, they were depleted in the first place, so not a huge victory, but any unit that breaks on the enemy side is a victory for us. Also looks like the enemy is going to go ahead and start moving up their wolf warriors, trying to go and begin engaging with our main defense on the final platform. But yeah, ultimately my hoplites are breaking, but that, again, no need to fear. We do have the mercenary Italian swordsmen are here to save the day. It looks like pretty much all of his archers are out of ammo as well, so he's going to go ahead and, or not all of his archers, I do apologize, I didn't notice he had archers in the back, but at least 2 units of his archers are beginning to run out of ammo, I believe, so he is charging them in. Going back over onto the other side, the enemy has moved up their wolf warriors in order to attempt to capture this tower, as well as 2 units of archers to begin doing more damage to our thorax swordsmen. So that's not good. We don't really have too much in the way of defenses over here, but my ally is going to do whatever is in his ability to be able to hold that line. Our enemy also bringing in a unit of Germanic pikes. Those pikes are going to be very, very deadly. I know I say it in almost every video that I play, but pikes are my worst enemy. They can do so much damage, and ultimately I always end up not being able to get a good shot on them every time I fight them, so it's always difficult to take them out. My hoplites have been broken, I don't know that word exactly right there. They're gone, so I did charge up my Illyrian levies to attempt to, hold back these German noble woman archers, spearmasters, and Germanic axe warriors. But again, they are just levies. They're not going to be able to do a whole lot. But combined with the archer fire and with the support of my mercenary Italian swordsmen in the back as well, they should be able to hold off the enemy at least for a little bit. And again, we're not aiming to ultimately win the battle here. Of course, if we do, that would be fantastic. But our main goal is just to do as much damage as we possibly can, while we have the enemies trapped here in this great position up on the wall. Over here, we still have my mercenary Italian swordsmen, hoplites, my friend's thorax swordsmen, holding the line. The enemy is attempting to use, or I think successfully, no, I don't think this was the glitch, but they have successfully somehow surrounded my troops, but my ally, being the smart person that he is, thank God for allies, also kind of moved their thorax swordsmen in order to support my troops and try to help them stay alive for as long as possible. So ultimately, we are holding the line, but for how long? These Illyrian levies are beginning to break. My hoplites are very depleted. I've got a unit of mercenary swordsmen and a unit of archers in the reserve over here, but that's about it. I'm beginning to run very low on troops, and I won't be able to hold for very much longer. My Illyrian levies are breaking, so I ultimately decide to charge in my mercenary Italian swordsmen as well, with these hoplites, so that we might be able to continue holding this choke point. I see that he's trying to use his spears with the wolf warrior, so I was going to try to see if I can stop them from using those spears by kind of getting my mercenary Italian swordsmen around this unit. I didn't expect to break these Germanic spearmasters because I didn't realize how low they were, but we successfully did break them. So now we can kind of focus on the wolf warriors a little bit more. Our troops are beginning to break from this main defense over here. My hoplites are beginning to break. But ultimately, we are doing a decent amount of damage, and that's our goal. We're just trying to do as much damage as possible before the enemy breaks through. The enemy had successfully, so I forgot to show this, I do apologize, but the enemy had successfully broken through our units over here, and has moved up pikes and archers and berserkers and everything else. So I still have, of course, 2 units of mercenary Cretan archers over in the main defense, so I'm doing whatever I can to try to get as much fire into these Germanic pikes as possible. I'm trying so hard to break these pikes because they are doing a very large number on these thorax swordsmen, so I'm just focusing fire. I'm telling all my units to try to fire on these Germanic pikes and just get them out of here. So our main line had started to break, so ultimately we're like, alright, we need to get the hell out of here. Our line over here has broken, but we did a lot of damage to the enemy over here as well. So me and my ally decide to retreat. I'm going to try to get what's left of my forces, my mercenary Italian swordsmen, pretty much that's it, and my 1 unit of archers back into the fray. My ally keeping a unit of depleted thorax swordsmen back to hold off the enemy while we retreat. But this is it, guys. My allies got the bulk of our forces. I mean, the only things that I've got left is my general, which ultimately I didn't realize that my general was a pike unit. I didn't realize that I brought a pike unit, but that was very nice. We've got some fireballs. We've got my general, which is a pike unit. A ton of thorax swordsmen, my mercenary Italian swords, and a bunch of archers left over. But ultimately, like, if you look, I really don't have that much left. But I do still have my spears in the background, and I still have my unit of elephants, so there's always a chance. Whenever you hear the word elephants in Rome 2 Total War, you better be afraid, because those things can do a very, very heavy number on enemy forces. But ultimately, they did fall back their Germanic pikes. We could try to charge in after them to try to keep them from forming up, but did not successfully do so. This unit of Germanic pikes is getting killed, though, so that's good. At least we're killing some of them. We just got to try to get rid of as many of these pikes as possible. We're trying to take out these berserkers, and I'm assuming that these Germanic noblewoman archers are out of ammo as well, so we're attempting to take those out as well. But ultimately, we're not doing too bad. We're breaking a little bit, but we are pushing the enemy back and keeping these lines situated, and we still have a lot of troops left over. Let me close my window real quick, guys. Sorry. I don't want any background noise coming in the mic. There we go. So yeah, it's basically, it's come down to the final defense. I've got my Hellenic Royal Guard, and I didn't realize that you can throw torches from down here up onto this tower to destroy, and I was like, alright, we kind of really need this tower, so I'm going to try to take out these archers before they can burn down the tower, because that would suck. So I moved up my unit of pikes to take out the tower. And this unit of thorax swordsmen is still holding. They've been surrounded for ages. I have no idea how they're still holding, but they're still here. They're still holding against all these depleted units. But the enemy still has a lot of troops. I mean, he's still got 2 units of pikemen, a lot of Agima, a lot of units of spears. We're just going to say spears. Our other ally is starting to get depleted, but he still has a lot of units as well. So we've still got a lot of units to be able to take care of. The battle is far from over. Our enemies are beginning to form up, getting themselves situated, trying to prepare for this final assault. My ally is still trying to get that unit of thorax swordsmen out of there. And then the enemy charging up and burning down this tower. Again, I really didn't realize you could burn down that tower from down there, which really sucks. I wish they weren't able to. And so there's really not much that I can do except for let them burn down that tower. So they're ultimately going to be able to burn that tower. And I was like, you know what? I know these guys are just depleted, but we're going to see if we can at least do a little bit of damage. But I'm not sure if I set up the stakes or if my ally set up the stakes, but I didn't realize ultimately that stakes would block fireballs from being able to do any damage. So we activate the fireballs, but the stakes blocked them. So we weren't even successfully able to actually do any damage to the enemy with those fireballs. But the enemy has successfully burnt down our arrow tower. There was nothing that we could do. I've got my unit of mercenary Cretan archers. They are out of ammo, but I'm going to go ahead and charge them up and have them hold this front line so that way I can get my general out of there from taking so much archer fire. And my ally's still doing whatever it is in his power to be able to hold off this enemy. Our enemy's still got ammo. They've got this arrow tower. They've got berserkers. They've got wolf warriors. And worst of all, they've still got a unit of Germanic pikes. I think 2 units of Germanic pikes. Yep, so they've got a more fresh unit of Germanic pikes here and a more depleted unit of Germanic pikes there, and so ultimately my ally still has a lot to go through, and he is running out of troops. Thorax swordsmen against pikes, definitely not the greatest things in the world. Berserkers are I shouldn't say overpowered. Berserkers are very good as well, so just trying to take out all of these forces is definitely going to be a little bit of a doozy. But yeah, so the enemy scene that I pushed back my general has sent up his depleted unit of Agima spears to try and push through these Cretan archers, and I'm like, alright, if you want to play that way, I'll move up my depleted unit of mercenary Italian swordsmen to go in and take out your spears. So ultimately we are going to be able to hold this position for a little while. I've still got my 1 unit of archers situated right here, and I completely forgot about them. So they're just kind of sitting there, relaxing, catching their breath. kind of congratulating themselves on how many kills, because I mean, just look how many kills. We got a decent, like, they killed a lot of our troops here too, don't get me wrong, but I mean, that archer fire really did a number on these enemy troops, so these archers better be proud of themselves, because they did a decent number of damage. My mercenary, Italian swordsman, and Cretan archers still holding this line, making sure that the enemy spears do not push through. I'm trying not to push too many troops into that breach point because I don't want the enemy to be able to push through. My ally, this is just a huge brawl. I mean, it's my allies charge in so many units of thorax swords, and the enemies just charge in pretty much everything they have. Noble archers, bodyguard, berserkers, pikes, just everything that you can think of. Wolf warriors. This is all in. It's an all or nothing push, and the enemy's going for it. He's pushing it as much as possible. And so I'm keeping my mercenary Cretan archers back. I'm trying to save their ammo because I'm waiting for those pikes to move up. Because I know those pikes are going to be huge problems. So I'm just waiting for those pikes to push up. Ultimately, I see that my Italian swordsmen and my Cretan archers are starting to be depleting a little bit. So I'm going to move up my general, my pike unit, my Hellenic Royal Guard to try and hold back the enemy for as long as possible. Oh shit, I missed it. No. Fuck. Okay, so you remember how I told you guys to remember about those elephants? Where I fucking didn't. So what I've done, pause for a second. So what I've done basically is I've retreated my 2 units of spears because I don't need to hold off this enemy anymore. And my enemy was so focused up on here that he didn't realize that I was sending my elephants down and around, because he didn't even know that I had elephants. So I was sending my elephants down and around, and I charged through a unit of spears, break through this unit of spears, and I charge into his archers up here with my elephants and just take out pretty much all of his archers down here. And then I move my elephants from these archers over here all the way over here to try and take out his general unit, because I believe that that's his general unit right there. But my elephants have gone berserk, and he's got a lot of archer fire. But ultimately, I mean, my elephants did a lot of damage. I charged him through here, took out an entire unit of spears, took out all of his archers. I think I might have... No, I didn't do a recharge here. And then I charged back, and I'm just... Like, they're going berserk in the middle of a couple of spear units. Yes, they're taking a lot of fire, but they're going to get a decent amount of kills before they finally fall. So I'm sorry that I missed that, guys. That's my bad. I didn't realize that I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, my elephants did a very, very good number of damage. Like, did a lot of damage to the enemy. But yeah, they're going berserk, and they're going to go ahead and try to get the hell out of there because they are taking a lot of damage. There's a lot of archer fire going into these elephants. Holy smokes. And they're just trying to get the fuck out of there. They're just trying to run. They're just trying to survive. Still doing a decent amount of damage on the way out. But yeah, they're running. They're getting out of there. So yeah, we are still holding the line. I've got my general unit of pikes holding back all of these spearmen. My allies also starting to push in thorax swordsmen. We are starting to break here, but we're still doing a decent amount of damage to all of these enemy units. So we're not out of the fight yet. We've still got a lot of thorax swords dealing a decent amount of damage to the enemy. And we still got some reserves, so the battle definitely isn't over yet, and I was able to successfully retreat those Therios spearmen back and bring them back into the main point. But yeah, my elephants, they broke, but they got back, so I'm like, okay. I see that he's trying to form up his pikes, so I'm like, oh shit, okay, let's see if I can get back there before he sets up his pikes. But he did successfully set up his pikes before I got back there, which kind of sucks. But I see that there's a gap right here. I see that there's a gap, you know, between the pikes and the building. So I'm like, oh, well, if there's a gap here, maybe I can charge my elephants through. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I see that he's beginning to reform his pikes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to charge right through. I'm going to get the hell through. I'm going to get the hell through those pikes, and I'm going to charge my elephants through, and I'm going to keep trying to do as much damage as possible. There's still 4 elephants left. So I'm going in. I'm going in for the kill. I'm going to see if I can successfully get some kills on these spears, but sadly my elephants do die except for one, and he comes in and just completely disrupts the spear unit, completely disrupts this one, dealing a decent amount of damage. I mean, one elephant, even if you just have one elephant, the amount of damage that one elephant can do is absolutely insane, and so he's just going berserk inside of the spear unit until finally he dies. It's so sad. But those elephants did a lot of damage. I mean, they really got a good number of kills out here. And so I'm proud. Holy smokes. But yeah, we are still holding the line. The enemy has successfully gotten a unit of berserkers through. I think they were going berserk and they just kind of charged through on their own. But I do have my unit of Thero spears here trying to keep them back and hold them back. And then the enemy used the walls to be able to get around us as well. So he's got a unit of Germanic noblewoman archers through. But again, we've still got a decent amount of units. We got hoplites, we got units of swordsmen. We've still got some swords and such. And so there's always a chance. There's always a chance. And the enemy's running out of troops as well. I mean, they may be doing a lot of damage to us, but we're sure as hell doing damage to them as well. And so my allies still got a decent amount of units. I've still got a decent amount of units, and so life's good. That's all I can say. Life is good. We're holding. We're doing whatever is in our power to hold. And so I see that they're just using a ton of archer fire against my general, so I'm trying to get my general the hell out of there as well. Again, I moved in a unit of Thero spears to hold the line and just to try to keep the enemy back, to fight against these two units of depleted enemy spearmen. The enemy still has, you know, a decent amount of forces, but I hope it's not enough. I really do hope it's not enough. Over here, we are finally beginning to take out these berserkers, but not without, of course, losses. We are beginning to break the wolf warriors. We're beginning to break some units of the enemy. Yes, we are starting to be depleted, but we are beginning to break them. They've got their unit of Germanic pikes, so I am going to go ahead and use my last unit of archers to try to focus down those pikemen. We've got noble Germanic horsemen moving down, and they're going to try to move down and around and go behind us. At least I assume so, because they're moving down. They've still got 2 units of fresh pikemen, and they're finally moving them up. And we are losing men. I mean, we're losing men. We're losing a lot of troops. And they are beginning to break through. Like this disruption, yes, it's just a couple units, like a unit of archers and a depleted unit of berserkers, but that really disrupted us and made it hard for me to be able to get reinforcements to my ally. Yes, my ally's holding, but the enemy made a really good move and really solid move and did a pretty good amount of damage to me. But finally, we were able to break those back troops, and so my ally sending in his thorax swordsman. I'm going to send in my general unit, my Hellenic Royal Guard. Just doing whatever I can to be able to get in there and help my ally, because we got to try to combat these pikes, wherever they are. Yeah, these pikes. Nope, that's thorax swordsman. Pikes. There we go. They're pretty healthy pikes, but I feel like pikes against pikes, you know, if worse comes to worse, that's about all I can do. I've still got my archers trying to fire into the enemy as well. The enemy has a unit of Germanic noblewoman archers, still has ammo, still firing into my troops, still doing damage. We're still holding down here. Somehow we are still holding down here. They've got units of depleted spears, but these spears are very good spears. They're actually doing they do a decent amount of damage to my unit as well. But my Thero spears, not nearly as elite as the enemies are, but still able to hold the line, which is great. The enemy still has a decent amount of troops, but again, they're running out just the same as us. We've still got a chance. Where there's a will, there's a way. I've still got a couple of units of mercenary Italian swordsmen. I've still got another unit of Thero spears. I've got my general unit kind of trying to hold back the enemy. My mercenary Cretan archers are still trying to fire in. We are successfully trying to push back the enemy as well, doing as much damage as we can. The enemy is moving up the rest of their troops, the Germanic Noble Guard, but this is it. This is all that they have left. The main worry for us right now is this. This is the main force that they have, and so they're sending everything up. They're sending their pikes in. They're sending their spears. They're sending in their archers. They're sending in their general. They're sending in everything. They're going to do whatever they can to be able to push through my lines. And so my ally still has a couple of units of thorax swordsmen as well, attempting to charge in. Yes, they're depleted, but they'll still be able to hold the line. The enemy's trying to use the glitch where they just push through our units and get to our flanks, so we're trying to stop them from being able to do that. I've got my another unit of Thero spears charging in. We're doing whatever we can to try not to lose this line, because they're pushing through. And holy shit, the noble Germanic horses. As soon as I charge my spears in, he charges in, and I didn't realize he was flanking around with that unit. I wasn't paying attention, and so he's got a unit of noble Germanic horsemen, his general unit charging in and just wreaking havoc upon our lines. Me seeing that they charge in his general, I'm trying to get my spears in there. I'm just doing whatever I can to be able to kill this general, trying to get him off the battlefield before he can do too much damage, and just trying to do whatever I can to surround him. And he's trying to get out of there. He really is trying to get out of there. And yeah, that charge really disrupted our lines. He made me retreat spears. He made me retreat specific units, and it was crazy. Now over here we are breaking. I really like, this is crazy. Just the amount of damage that the enemy was able to do. Yes, we took out their pikes, but he's just got Germanic noblewoman archers, noble bodyguard, just these super elite troops just able to push through. And I've got my general here with his pikes. He's doing as much damage as he can, but ultimately between the cav charging into his back and just being completely surrounded by everybody else, he is going to break. There's no way that he can hold this. And so my ally's trying to get his general in, his thorax hoplites to try to hold that back. I'm sending in my thorough spears and my mercenary Italian swordsmen. I'm just throwing whatever I can in. I'm trying to hold these enemies back. But we're out of ammo. And he's got 2 fresh units of pikemen ready to push back my lines. And so they're pushing back. They really are pushing back against our lines. But his ally's almost dead. If we can successfully defeat this ally, then we can charge around and get behind the enemy forces and get behind those pikemen. So I'm doing whatever I can to try to hold back the enemy units and do whatever I can to hold them back and keep them in one place. So that way we might be able to break through these units and charge up and around and try to get behind those pikes. Because we don't have any archers left. And the only weaknesses that I know from pikes is to attack them, either attack them from behind, which is pretty much almost any unit's weakness, or any unit's weakness to be honest, or to pepper them down with archer fire. Well, we're out of archer fire, so we got to get behind them. So my ally's trying to charge in his thorax hoplites to try to take out these enemy noble bodyguard, and most of these troops are very depleted. I mean 46, 27, 20, 10. He's only got one fresh-ish unit of Germanic noble bodyguard left. But the floodgates are open. My troops could not hold back that giant flood, and with the death of my general, this is going to be the end of the game. But what a game it was. That was absolutely insane. I mean, just the amount of carnage that's just around the battlefield. It's, you know, in a sense it's sad, but in another sense it's beautiful. Just like seeing all this carnage and the battle that took place, and it's crazy just how many lives were lost this day. But yeah, I mean, between that elephant charge, and the archers firing into the backs, and the enemy charging in his horses behind us, it was a crazy battle. A lot of really good strategies used. Thank you so much to my opponents for allowing me to use this recording inside of a YouTube video. Thank you so much to my ally, my buddy, best brother, for playing in this battle with me. Thank you so much to my opponents for playing in this battle with me. I had a lot of fun in this battle, and I hope that everybody did as well. I hope that you guys really enjoyed watching this video, because this was a very, very fun battle to play. But let's go ahead and look at the kills. I need to see this. I need, like, did my ally seriously bring an entire army of thorax swordsmen? That is fucking amazing, dude. But yeah, my elephant's getting 491 kills. Like, that flank really did us well, because we were losing pretty badly, if we're gonna be honest. But holy shit, what the squirrel, dude. What? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Holy smokes, I never realized it. I never realized that he just brought an entire army of thorax swordsmen. That is crazy, dude. Holy smokes. I mean, 4, 5, 10, 15, 19 units of thorax swordsmen. And in his general unit, a unit of thorax hoplites. Wow. That was crazy, dude. That was kudos to him. I did not realize that he just brought thorax swordsmen. I was so focused on my own units that I didn't realize. That's amazing. But yeah, again, thank you so much to my opponents, A-Wolf and Because the Potato, and my allies, Squirrel and or Best Brother. That was a very fun battle. But yeah, I mean, me getting 2,557 kills, my ally getting 1,312. The enemy's getting a lot of kills between the two. And I love how the DLC units look different. The DLC units definitely look a lot better in the pictures, in my opinion. It gives a lot more detail. But overall, a very good battle. I mean, my archers, my Cretan archers getting a ton of kills. This unit of archers getting a ton of kills because that's the one that shot at the flanks. My hoplites not getting very many kills because of the fact that they were just holding the lines. My Italian swordsmen not doing terrible. I mean, they're just mercenaries, so I mean, not doing too bad for mercenaries. But my Illyrian levies, my shittiest unit in my army, of course I upgraded all the way, but 181 kills for a unit of levies. That is crazy. But overall, my commanding cavalry not getting very many kills. My general doing very well. But overall, I mean, like, that was a very good battle. Again, I know I've said this a few times already, but thank you guys so much for playing this battle. I really enjoyed this. Thank you, everybody who's watching the video. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. If you guys like the video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave me a comment below letting me know that you liked the video, or if you hated the video, let me know that you hated the video, why you hated the video, what I might be able to do to improve as a YouTuber, etc., etc. I'd love to be able to hear you guys' input and your guys' opinions. It really helps me out a lot, and I would love to be able to bring better content for you guys at any given opportunity. But yeah, guys, that was a freaking fantastic battle and a fantastic replay. Thank you guys again so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye! Hey, what is up, guys?